In a season of last wicket stands, Gloucestershire's Liam Norwell and Craig Miles both hit career bests to break a record 10th wicket partnership for Gloucestershire, which had lived for 91 years. Yet it still didn't prevent Worcestershire from moving 43 points clear at the top of the second division table after they defeated their hosts in Cheltenham by 8 wickets. Following on 239 runs behind, Gloucestershire began the third day of this LV County Championship match on 10 for 1 in their second innings, and after Will Tavaret and night watchman Tom Smith had seen out the morning's first 5 overs in adding 15 runs, Smith went fishing to locate a ball from Mitchell McClenaghan, which he nicked behind after making 9. McClenaghan bowled with some pace, and when Tavaret went after him, he top-edged to Charlie Morris, who completed the dismissal in the deep. Gloucestershire were reeling again on 30 for 3, and an innings defeat was on the cards against a side which is filled with confidence at the moment. Led by their inspirational captain Daryl Mitchell, they've been helped this year by the outstanding performances of Syed Ajmal, but with him now gone, they must have been out to prove that they could win games easily without his skills. Alex Gidman decided the best way to turn this game on its head was to play some shots. He tucked into Joe Leach, but having struck 7 boundaries in his 37, he was deceived by this ball from Jack Chantry and was bowled. Chantry struck again in his next over as Hamish Marshall edged a delicious delivery behind to go with his side on 84 for 5. Straight after lunch, they also lost Will Gidman, who, having made 11, tamely clipped Morris to Chantry at square leg. Worcestershire were closing in on the kill, and twice Ian Cobain ducked into short balls from McClenaghan, who bowled in short and fiery spells. Cobain didn't last much longer before he was trapped in front by the other left-armer, Chantry. Benny Howell and Adam Rouse, here seen hitting a boundary each, both fell just after getting themselves in, and that left the Gloucesters on 152 for 9, and surely certain to lose this match by an innings and plenty. After all, as Norwell came in to join Miles, Gloucestershire trailed by 87 runs. Initially, their record-breaking partnership began with both batsmen having a bit of fun. Miles, who'd batted as well as anyone in his side's first innings, played freely, hitting through the line and sometimes over the top. But once he realised that it was possible to score runs on this pitch and against this opposition after all, he began to produce some more cultured strokes. Miles can bat, while Norwell has never really made a score before. Indeed, his best effort in the first-class game before this one was 26. He was soon past that, and then there was a realisation that perhaps, just perhaps, these two could make their opponents bat a second time, as unlikely as that had seemed when they joined forces. This stroke brought up the 50-run partnership, and now the confidence was really beginning to grow. That was proved by this shot from Norwell, who blasted Alexei Kavesi over the rope for a 6. The fact that Kavesi was given the ball tells the story. Not even McClenaghan could upset them now. Norwell timed a push down the ground off him so well that it went to the boundary to bring up the number 11's 50, which had used up 67 deliveries. That was his 8th 4 to go with his 6, and he celebrated as if this was the kind of thing he did every day of the week. Mitchell brought himself on, but that made no difference. He was thumped over the top by Miles, who now had his half-century off 86 balls, that being his 8th 4. That was the second 50 of his career, having made one against Essex last year. These two had now, rather remarkably, posted a 100-run partnership. Many were now flicking through the record books and would have noticed that, back in 1923, William Gouldsworthy and John Besant to put on 131 for the last wicket in Bristol against Somerset. These two were now closing in on that, having already ensured that Worcestershire's top order would have to get their pads on again. But when? By now this pair looked as if they could keep going for a long time to come. They played some incredible shots between them. For 33 overs, they'd kept the bowlers at bay, but with the second new ball in hand, Morris finally bowled Norwell for a brilliant 78, leaving Miles on 62. Their partnership ended on 137. They'd taken their side to 289 in the end, but that still left Worcestershire only 51 runs to get to win for the 7th time from 12 LV County Championship matches this summer. That's 3 more than anyone else in the second division. They needed only 46 balls to reach their target. Richard Oliver smashed 18 off 10 balls, while Mitchell, who for the second time this summer looks set to spend every single minute of a game on the pitch, eased Will Gidman for a maximum. But both were out before the job was completed. Mitchell finally had a sit down after making 15 before Oliver sliced a club off Howell to be caught by Will Gidman in the deep. But to the fourth delivery of the 8th over, Tom Fell hit Smith for the winning runs just before what would have normally been the close of play. Norwell and Miles had come together midway through the afternoon session. It was still, in spite of that brilliant partnership, a comprehensive victory for Worcestershire, who now have 1 foot and a couple of suitcases in the First Division for next season. Their eventual margin of success was 8 wickets, and they took 23 points to Gloucestershire's to remain the only unbeaten side in the country in the 4-day competition this year, and that means they now lead the Second Division by 43 points. Oddly, these two sides meet again next from August the 15th at New Road. It's hard to see anyone catching Mitchell's superb side now, whatever the result of that contest.